the one, the only, Ben Sion. Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. Today we're doing Masechus Nazir, Daf Nun Zayin, number 57. We're finishing the 7th parak. We're starting the 8th parak. I was talking to my friend outside there. I'm like, oh man, I can't take Masechus Nazir anymore. Talking about dead bodies and corpses and bones and flesh from alive and dead people. It's grossing me out a little bit, I have to tell you. I'm sorry. And then I said, what's Masechus Nazir doing in Masechus Nostrum? What is a Nazir having to do with women? The only explanation I can think of is, like I said, a Nazir comes from the word Nazareth, which is a city here in Israel, which is the birthplace of Jesus. If you don't want to attract women, act like a Nazareth, act like a Nazir. That's what a Nazir is, basically. Just like a get ends a marriage. A Nazir is a way of preempting a marriage, right? A lot of Christianity believes you shouldn't even get married. The highest serving Christians don't get married, not allowed to get married. So, if you want not to attract women, just as Jesus said when he was dying, I commend my soul to you, Father. Be an Eved Hashem. You will not attract women. All right, let's start the Mishnah. Some people, I don't know who watches this exactly, but if you're watching this and you're shocked that I said this, don't be shocked. Just watch some of my other videos. You'll get more shocked. All right, Mishnah says, I'm Rabbi Akiva. I'm telling you the truth. The truth and nothing more. Mishnah says, I'm Rabbi Akiva, Danti the Rabbi Lezer. The bottom of the Mishnah, and then based on the bottom, Rabbi Akiva says, I came to Rabbi Lezer, I asked him, I said, Ma'im asim kasora she'enam atame adam ba'ol nazrim galeach ha'magov ha'maso. A bone the size of a barley seed, right? We know it's matame, but only if you touch it or carry it. If you're in an oel, under a roof with it, it's not matame. Revius dam shum matame adam ba'ol. If you had a revius halug of blood, even we learn our kibbutz zinu comes from two people, but according to the Rabbanan, it comes from one person. You're under the same tent as that, under the same roof, and it is matame. Certainly, if Nazir touches or revius adam, he should end his Nazirus, start again. However, the previous Mishnah said it has to be a chatzi log adam, revius halog is not enough. Amar li mazeh akiva ein danin kami kal v'chomer. He said, you can't learn a kal v'chomer. He didn't explain himself. Shubati l'verteti dvarim l'nei Rabbi Shua. Sorry, Akiva was confused. Belezer was one of his teachers. He said, you can't make a kal v'chomer like that. So he went to Rabbi Akiva. He said, Rabbi Shua, who was also his Rebbe, was a chavrusa of Rabbi Lezer. He said, Amar li yafa amarta. You said good. Can't amru halacha. There's a halacha l'mashusina involved, and we'll see. The Gemara says you can't make a kal v'chomer when one of the halachas is not rationale. It's just, that can't be explained rationally. It's just something which was taught. Halacha l'mashusina. The Gemara says nun zayin amnal tatavi bailu etzem kasora halacha v'revius dam kal v'chomer. Which one was halacha l'mashusina? The fact that a bone which is the size of a barley seed is matame when you carry it or touch it. That's halacha. Revius dam kal v'chomer. You can't learn about a revius dam because that makes sense logically. However, you can't learn kal v'chomer from halacha. Ve'ein dam kal v'chomer halacha. Don't revius dam halacha. Maybe the fact that a revius dam is matame, right? Revius dam is matame oel or even masal maga. Even if you touch it or carry it, etzem kasora kal v'chomer. Etzem the size of a bone is a kal v'chomer. Ve'ein dam kal v'chomer halacha. Tashma. Etzem kasora. If a brayso which says explicitly to answer our question. Etzem kasora halacha. The halacha mashina is the etzem kasora, that a bone the size of a barley seed, not smaller than a kazayas, right? Is matame. Revius dam kal v'chomer, ein dam kal v'chomer halacha. Revius dam makes sense. However, you can't learn a halacha mashusina when you're using the shear of a bone, because that's halacha mashusina. Hadran halacha kohen gadol. We have finished the 7th parak of Masechus Nazir. Let's start the 8th parak. Go. Shein is Nazirim. Echa she'amar lahen echad. Two Nazir. They were Nazir. A third person says, Ra'isi echad mekem shenitma. I saw piece of a dead body. It touched one of you. Any days in Megam. I don't know which one it was. Your backs were turned to me. I don't know which one it is. Megalchen. So now both of them are Safek Tame. And as we learned yesterday about Safek Tuma, we're going to discuss some interesting cases. You're Safek Tame. So what do you do in that case, right? So what do you do? Megalchen Avin Karban Tuma of a Karban Tara. They both shave their heads after the 30 days. They're both finished their Naziris, however long their Naziris is. And then together, they both shave their heads. And then they bring a Karban Tuma and a Karban Tara. They bring two sets of Karbanos. One is Karban Tara. If they had finished their Naziris B'Tara, they would put a Chatas, Ola, and Shlamim. And also, they bring a Chatz and Ola of birds and an Asham, which is for the Karban for Tuma. They bring it jointly. Omer, and one of them says, Imaniyu Tame, if I'm the one who was Tame, Karban Tuma Shali, right? The birds and the Karban Asham is mine. The Karban Tara Shalcha, the Karban Tara, the Chatzas and all the Shlamim of the animals are yours. Anihu Tar, if I'm the one who wasn't Tame, I'm Tar. Karban Tara Shali. Karban Tara should be your Karban Tuma Shalcha. And the Karban Tuma belongs to you, my friend. The Sofrin Shloshim Yom. But they're not done because one of them is Tame. So if one of them is Tame, so he's just restarting his count. So therefore, the Sofrin Shloshim Yom, when we're talking about probably Naziros, where Stam Naziros 30 days. So they count another 30 days. Mavian Karban Tara. Now, here you only have to bring a Karban Tara, because even if you were Tame the first one, now you kept 30 days. There was no Tuma in between. That's what the Mishnah is talking about. So, you bring a Karban Tara. Omer, Ibani Hu Tame. If I originally was one of Tame, Karban Tuma Shali. Right? The first Karbanos, Karban Tuma was mine, but Karban Tara Shalcha. Is that Karban Tara Asi? This is the Karban for my Tara. Ibani Hu Hator. If I'm the one that wasn't Tame to begin with, Karban Tara Shali. The first set of Karbanos that I brought, the Karban Tara was mine. But Karban Tuma Shalcha, the Karban Tuma was yours. Was that Karban Tara? And because you're a Tame, now you're becoming Tar, and these Karbanos that we're bringing now, the Chazon and Shlamim, are for you. The Gemara says, Gzani Shnei Nazirim, Shamar Lahem, Ra'isi Echad Mekem Shnitmav, Any Odei Izim Echem, Amai. Kol Safek Tumor, B'Shuz Yachid, Meheichan Yalfin Allah, Misota. Right? As I said many times, there's halacha. How do you deal with Safek when it comes to Tumor? So, we learn from the Sefach Sota that we're going to see in a second that Sota is called Rosh Yachid because when a woman commits adultery, or potentially commits adultery, we're not sure if she commits adultery, so she obviously does it in a hidden place, right? Not a public place. So therefore, that's the halach of Sota. All the halachas of Sota are on a Safek. We assume Safek Tuma, right, is in some ways kavadai because it makes her drink the Mei Sota. She has to drink it. So therefore, that's only by Rosh Yachid in a private place. So we learn what is Rosh Yachid. There's only two people over there. There's the adulterer and the adulteress. Afkol Safek Tum Rosh Yachid could go into Ika Beit Trey. So what defines Rosh Yachid and Sharabim? Right, Rosh Yachid is private domain, Sharabim is public domain. So two people is Rosh Yachid, three people, even if it's a room, right? It would be considered three people considered Sharabim. But here, right? We have three people here. Two people were Nazirim, and a third person saying, I was near you, I just didn't know which one the Tuma touched. Right? So that's three people. Why are you bringing Karbanos? Because you're not sure if you're Torah. It doesn't make a difference. We go the Kula. Safek Tumor Sharab, you go the Kula. We assume you're not, both of them are not Tameh. I'm a Rabbi Baravun. Everyone says, he's like, no, I was standing from a distance. I wasn't next to you. We thought he was standing, the post can say, we're talking about within Dalit Amos. I was standing far away, outside Dalit Amos. And I saw some blood from a dead person got thrown between you. And and I wasn't sure which one it was, which one hit. It hit one of you, I'm not sure which one. I'm Rashi. Rashi says, yeah, that's precisely how you have to understand the Mishnah. Daikanami. It's precise reading from a Mishnah, the Kasani, Ve'eni Yodei Izimichem. Right? If he was within the 4 amos, he would obviously see which one the tumah hit. He must be a little bit far away. So therefore, there's only two people. It's called Safek Tumah Shiyachid, and therefore, or Machmir, and we have to take the Safek Tumah into account. Shma Mina. Megalchan Mevir. So they both, you have two Nazir. We're not sure which one is Tameh, which one is Tar. They shave their heads and they bring a joint set of Karbanos. Kamaras Tara, one set of Karban Tara, one set of Karban Tumah. Amai. There's problematic with the fact they shave their heads. Dilma lav tmein, maybe right, maybe at least one of them is not tamei. V'kavet akafa, right? If you're tamei, so you're allowed to shave your head, right? You shave your head, right? If you're not Tomei, then you're not allowed to shave your head. Now that I'm reading this Gemara, I'm thinking, wait a second. Even a Nazir who finishes Batara, he also shaves his head. So I don't really understand this question over here. Okay, I'll read our article over here. At first glance, the Gemara question seems strange. The Mishnah states the obligation to shave explicitly only in connection with the first round of offerings. At this point, however, both Nazirim have an obligation to shave, for one is concluding the ritual, and one is tumah, and one for his tumah ritual. Evidently, the Gemara understands the Mishnah to mean that not only do both Nazirim shave with the first round of offerings, but they shave again with the second round. Now, at that time, only the Nazir who had originally been Tamei is obligated to shave his head. The one who had originally been Torah entered his Nazir's the first round of concluding sacrifice is no longer permitted to shave his head. Since it does not know which Nazir is Torah, the Gemara asked that either should be allowed to shave their head. Okay. So it was a good question. Art scroll. First glance, it's a strange question. At second glance, after the art scroll's answer, it's still a strange answer. I don't like their answer that they give. This is the Shita of the Chachmei Evrul, like a French one. I don't know. Rabbi Azriel, cited by Shita Mekubetzes. See Rabbeinu Peretz for different and very novel solutions. See also Rashash. Okay. So obviously this is a good question. It only says that they shave their heads the first time around. Both have to shave their heads. One, whether you're Tomei or Torah, you have to shave your head. It must be. I'll give a different answer. And it must be. I'm going to try to develop this because I think there is a difference. When if you're Tomei and you shave your head, so you shave your complete head. I don't know if you're a finished Batara if you shave your complete head. I'm advancing this now. I'll have to develop this towards the end of the Masechta because I'd like to get into this. But that's my possible solution to this. The article, if you didn't understand what the article was saying, is basically that Magach and Levine wasn't just going the first time. Also, after the second 30 days, they also both shaved their heads. How could that be? Only one of them needs to do it. The other one doesn't need to do it. Amar Shmuel. So the Gemara says, Be'isha v'katan. We're talking about a woman and a katan, right? A woman and a katan can both accept Nazir. The woman, of course, says Nazir in the Torah, and a katan, right, his father can make him a Nazir. And there's no Isser of Akavas Harosh. Those Akivu Pas Rosh applies to men. The Gemara in Kedushin says that, the Mishnah in Kedushin says that Hakava does not apply to women because they don't, Hashchasa and Hakafa, they don't grow beards. Also, Hakava doesn't apply to them. So the Gemara says, V'lukman begadol, Hakavas kol rosh losh ma'akafa. I have a better answer to tell you. It's not a man, right, who's of age. He's 13 years old. However, we have a machlokas. We're going to discuss this more tomorrow. Whether hakafas kol rosh, let's just, for simplicity's sake, say you're shaving your entire head, right? Losh ma'akafa, right? That's what a Nazir does. He completely shaves his head. So that's not called hakafa. Hakafas rosh is when you shave off these parts, right? But shaving off your entire head is not a violation. Let's give a pas rosh. If I shave the entire head, it's not shaving off, rounding off corners of my head. If you listen to my earlier shirim, I had a different explanation. Lo sakifu pas roshkam. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Lo sakifu pas roshkam. If that's what it means, literally, that you just cut off this part of your hair, where's the rounding? Hekif is a circle. So I said lo sakifu pas roshkam is exactly the opposite. When you leave these parts and you shave the rest of your head, because then you have a circle over here. Well, I can see them. A lot of them do it like that. It looks very bad. So that's what I think the Torah is talking about. That's Daraisa. That's my explanation. That was one of the Yom Ben Sealins I gave. But let's keep, for simplicity's sake, let's keep with what the article and every self-respecting Jew believes. So, the fact that Shmuel doesn't answer that, he answers that we're talking about a woman or a katan, shows that he holds that shaving your entire head is the same thing as shaving off the sides of your head. Mar Zutra quoted Shmuel in a different place for a Mishnah regarding a Mishnah that's coming up on Daf Nun Tet. We had this yesterday. It's a very complicated Mishnah. He was Tamei, he was a Nazir. He was Tamei B'Safek. He also was a Mitzorah, but he was Mukhlat. He wasn't sure that if he was a Mitzorah or not. And he completed his Tzaras. So he's a Safek Nazir, Safek Tuma, and Safek Mitzorah. So I'm not going to explain this again. I explained this briefly yesterday. Maybe I'll explain briefly in Daf Tet. But for whatever reason, there's a lot of sveikos involved over here, so he can't eat kachim for 60 days. He has to shave his head 4 times. After 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, and after 120 days. It's only a suffix. How can you do hakafa on a suffix? It's a suffix d'oraisa l'chumra. Amar Shmuel b'isha v'katan. Shmuel said, no, that Mishnah on Daf Nun is also talking about isha and katan, and therefore they don't have to worry about suffix violating isha d'oraisa. Amar Rav Huna. So apparently the article had a different girsa over here. Oh, sorry. No, they didn't have a different girsa. Amar Shmuel b'isha v'katan. That's where Shmuel said isha v'katan, because obviously Shmuel holds akafa is called rosh hakafa. Therefore he has to say isha v'katan. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna says amakiv es hakatan harayu chayiv. A man, presumably Rav Huna means a man who rounds off the corner of a katan. He's not of age. He's 10 years old, whatever. Harayu chayiv. He's chayiv. This is not really related to the Nazir necessarily. It's related to this pasuk lo sakivu ba'as roshchem, right? Lo sakivu is the one who's doing it, the barber, right? It's not just someone who's a bar chiyuva. It's anyone who's you do the act, even if it's to a katan. Harayu chayiv. Presumably, even if it was a non-Jewish kid. I'm like Rav Huna. So Rav Huna was upset with Rav Huna's teaching. Your kids obviously, right? Your kids have a fade, right? According to the article, it says that they used to shave their heads. That was the way the children, the young kids, they used to shave their heads. Right? Maybe actually the explanation is like I said, hamakiv is the isser is to make like the yingalach, to make them pay us on the sides like that, the circles. So he said to him, who does that? You're not allowed to do it. You're the father, you're doing it, or the barber, whoever's doing it. Amar lei Chova. Chova is his wife. His wife's name was Chova. She does it. She is a woman. She is not responsible. Only a man, we'll see why, only a man is responsible for shaving, for being makif the hair of a katan. So when Rav Barava heard about this, Chova, he said he felt that it's a problem. Just like a man can't do it, a woman can't do it also. She should, as punishment for her doing this, she should have to bury her children. Kulu shani Rav Barava, as long as Rav Barava was alive, lo yikayim lezar leRav Huna. If his wife Rav Huna and his wife Chova had children, they would die in their youth. His wife would have to bury him. The klala was in his kayim. The curse came to fruition. Michti. So the Gemara analyzes the machlokas here of Huna Rav Barava. Tarvayus Svira Hakavas Kol Rosh Ma'akav. Obviously they hold, right? Hakavas Kol Rosh. I guess not like my explanation. They were treating like Hasidim, and they actually shaved the entire head. They gave him a fade, like I said, or an undercut, not undercut. Hakavas Kol Rosh Ma'akav. It's a hakafa. My kamiflagi. What are they arguing about? Rav Huna Savar Lo Sakifu Pas Roshchem Lo Sashkis Bats Ganecha. Rav Huna held, right, there's a pasuk in Parshas Kedoshim. It connects Hakavas Kol Rosh and Ashchasas, right? You're not allowed to use a razor to shave your beard. Kol sheyesh la Ashchasa, yesh la Hakav. Anyone who it's relevant to them, Hashchasa, meaning men, women don't have beard, yesh la Hakafa. So he is obligated not to do Hakafa. There, that's why Rav Huna let his wife do it, because the women, they don't grow a beard. They also are not responsible for being for the lab of hakafa. They could do it to other people. He was medactic in the fact that he says lo sakifu, which is a plural language. So why is it plural? Not just the person. Lo sakifu is the person who does the hakafa, the barber, but also the person who has it done to him is responsible. Because they're both included in the pasuk, we have to make a comparison between the two. Anytime with the nikaf, right, the person who gets his hair cornered off, right, the person who does it also chayiv. He's not responsible to make sure that his hair is not cut off. And therefore, Rav Barava held that technically even a man could do it, right? A man could cut the hair of a katan. All Rav Barava is saying, according to you, Rav Huna, right, women shouldn't be allowed to do it either. According to me, the Yisr only applies, doesn't apply at all. Like Rav Huna said, a makiv is a katan. Rav Barava argues, no. Even a man who goes ahead and cuts off the corners of the head, gives an undercut to his son, who's a katan, he's not chayiv, because if the nikav is not chayiv, the person who's done is not chayiv, the makiv also is not being chayiv. So he argues fundamentally. He's just saying, according to Rav Huna, right, women should also be responsible. And the Gemara explains that Rav Huna did not feel women are responsible. We'll talk more about this machlokas between Rav Huna, Rav Ada Barava, and Nino Ben Sion. I explained the Gemara according to my explanation. I will tell you what the article says a little differently about this Gemara and explain why I didn't explain like that. Nino Ben Sion coming up next.